Welcome to Peritos Solutions, your trusted cloud and ERP partner.
Hey guys, cheers for joining today. My name's Sid, by the way. Look, pleasure to have you guys here. I'm really keen to kind of get into the whole, about us, Peritos. Met a few of you guys outside, and cool to see some familiar faces. But those of you who aren't aware what we do and the kind of cool projects we're working on in the cloud AI space, really keen to kind of get into it. So I'll be just doing a quick intro this evening, just kind of going over just the basics of what we'll be going through. This will all be recorded, by the way. So look, if you need to pop out at some point, don't stress because we'll send everyone the link to have a look. We've got some cool guest speakers to join us throughout the evening too. So we got one of our mates here from AWS. He'll be kind of sharing some insights on his side and on the partnership we've got. We've also got Sandy here from Ingram, who's one of our partners. He'll share some insights too. And then we've got myself and the rest of the crew here. That's pretty much how we'll kick things off. There's the agenda there. And so to get right into it, I'd like to set the scene for you guys and just kind of really just zoom out for a bit. So on why we wanted to talk to you today. So I was reading the Herald maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and there was this one article that really stood out. And I was talking to, I think, Victor and a few others outside about this. It was about Health and Z using one Excel spreadsheet to pretty much map all the public spend. We're talking $28 billion just on one Excel spreadsheet, which not to, shine too much of a light on those guys at Health and Z, but that kind of represents New Zealand and where we're at. If we look at the digital supply chain spectrum, pretty much most companies in NZ, you're kind of looking at that. So there is a lot of improvement and a lot of space there to grow in terms of cloud and security, and of course, leveraging technology properly. So what you're looking at here on the screen, most organizations are in that nascent area. So that's, they might have basic CRM going on like Zoho. They might have some accounting like MYOB, Xero. And those are good. Those are cloud-based, but there's not real utilization of cloud going on. And what we're trying to look at is helping New Zealand, helping everyone try to get a bit more to that autonomous side on the right side of the screen, what we're looking at. That's why we're excited to kind of cover some things today. And we'll be going through that a bit more in depth on how we kind of help guide people and just kind of sharing insights on what we've been seeing. So that kind of takes us to kind of looking at a few things we'll cover in terms of why people would even want to get into cloud in the first place. Look, it comes down to cost, saving money, resilience, making sure you're more secure, just having the right tools there to make sure you're properly connected with the rest of the world, so you can scale properly when you want to and when you need to. So we can cover how we do that, and we'll also get, again, other speakers to kind of show how they do it on their ends. But it's important to kind of recognize why people even look at the cloud in the first place. And if we zoom out a bit here, so on the cloud, we're chucking all our data there. And I mean, we know what data is. It's pretty much everything from, numbers, words, letters, images, notes. But, we've found that business leaders, they can't really make the best decisions, and they're not properly well informed unless they have the data that's been cleaned up and it's managed properly. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to help businesses make sure, the data's in the right places, it's accessible, it's all the staff are able to kind of look at it and get insights out of it properly. And one cool part about it, making sure your data is all cleaned up, is, if you want to build AI on top of it, you got to make sure it's not fragmented. You got to make sure it's just streamlined properly. And on that topic of AI, which is definitely something we'll be getting into today, we'll be looking at, not just the cool stuff that we've been doing, but also the obstacles that we've come across. and the can of worms that kind of opens when you delve into that space. So something else worth noting is the two traditional types of AI you're looking at. So you've got your, X equals Y, your very linear traditional model, which is fine, nothing wrong with it. But we're really into the whole generative side, which is, that's a bit more dynamic. So I like to compare it to, traditionals like following a recipe if you're trying to cook something, and then generatives more a chef coming in and kind of creating something just by using those ingredients. So it gets a bit more interesting, gets a bit more fun. Um, and yeah, we'll be going through that as well tonight. This slide here, so this is just something worth noting. So when we start getting into AI, we often look at it, as trying to avoid getting too complex too quickly. So what you're looking at here, the image on the right, that's like a chatbot icon. So that's one easy win we like to look at when getting people into this whole space, chatbots, these kind of, like itinerary planners, these kind of things, easy ways that, look, most of us in the room are probably using day to day all the time. But that's really important to go through. It doesn't have to be something that freaks you out and it's too complex. We start small and then we can get into the more complex stuff. So today we'll be covering cool stuff like RAG, which in essence, it kind of gives it takes your kind of knowledge from your knowledge base and incorporates that into the answers and the outputs you're getting from AI. Helps prevent all sorts of issues that come up. So hallucination, we've all used ChatGPT, type something in and it gives you a completely wrong answer and it's not right. So again, we're going to explore a few things here about how when we get quite advanced into AI, how it can address these issues coming up. I mean, with the constitutional AI here on the screen, so making sure, when you're using these tools in your organizations, we need to make sure things are falling under the correct governance. You're staying on brand. When using these awesome tools, you just want to make sure the narrative's in line with what you're trying to achieve as a business. And then finally, and we'll get Joel from AWS, so he'll be coming in a bit later. He'll be kind of walking through their side on our partnership with them. So what that covers is how we come into the picture here with tech, how we kind of sit down with you guys, with businesses, and we kind of, have a look at what your current setup is, glide you through kind of, after assessing how it looks, what options you've got for, say, cutting costs or reducing your workloads, pretty much anything. And then a bit on how we do these demos with people. We sit down and we look at all the awesome programs, often they're funded, to just get the ball rolling, really. And then, of course, go to market support, which we'll shine a bit more light on later, how we hold the client's hand, we hold everyone's hand to make sure things are tracking smoothly and going well.
Thank you for watching. Get in touch if you're keen to discuss more.